Representative Ilhan Omar is facing incredibly dishonest attacks today from mostly right-wingers, some people in the mainstream media, suggesting that she has attacked Senator Lindsey Graham in a homophobic fashion, something that she did not in any way actually do. And the source of these attacks are that she is saying that his about face on Donald Trump, going from saying not that he opposes him, but that he is a danger to the country, that he will destroy the Republican Party, to being his most vocal supporter, they are saying that her acknowledging that is saying that he is secretly gay and that that's a bad thing. So why don't we go to the video that they are saying is evidence of this, and as you watch this, I want you to see if there is anything even approaching some talk about his sexuality, his personal life in any way. Here she is.
So over the last 3 years, we have seen many times where Senator Lindsey Graham has told us how dangerous this president could be if he was given the opportunity to be in the White House. And all of a sudden, he's made not only a 180 turnaround, but a 360 turnaround. And so I am pretty sure that there is something happening with him, whether it is something that has to do with his funding when it comes to running for office, whether it has something to do with the polling that they might have in his district, or whether it has to do with some sort of leadership within the Senate. He is somehow compromised to no longer stand up for the truth.
There she gave multiple potential explanations. Whether you agree with any of those, all of them were political explanations. She never said anything about anything, but I saw that that exact video was being retweeted thousands of times with the quote, she attacks him spreading a homophobic conspiracy theory about him. Was there anything in that?
She did not talk about his personal life in any way, shape, or form. She did not mention his sexual orientation in any way, shape, or form. And what I find fascinating is that in an attempt to smear Representative Omar, some on the right felt the need to throw Lindsey Graham under a bus because they're the ones who are bringing up his sexual orientation, right? And so are there rumors about his sexual orientation? Sure. Do we ever talk about that on this show? Absolutely not, because it's none of our business. And if he happens to be gay, it's on him to decide if and when he ever makes that public information. But the right wing feels the need to throw him under the bus because they want to smear a representative who brings up a very interesting point. So I want to address that quickly, because I also noticed that Lindsey Graham had a complete 180, right? He went from being highly critical of Trump to all of a sudden being one of Trump's strongest cheerleaders. It was certainly evident during the hearings involving Christine Blasey Ford and Brett Kavanaugh. He had that huge outburst, and that was when it became very clear to me that he had done a 180. And I didn't know what the influencing factor was behind the scenes. I don't know if he's been compromised. I don't know what's going on. My theory was that he's trying to sabotage Trump by appearing like he's his friend, and then he gives Trump all sorts of bad advice to destroy his political career.
I think that's interesting. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, look, it's a little crazy, right? But we're having fun. I'm not going on national television. Well, I'm kind of on national television, but anyway.
You just said it to a lot of people.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
But look, the point that I'm trying to bring up is sometimes he has these little cracks where he goes back to criticizing Trump, like when he said that Trump is a one-pager kind of guy during the hearings with William Barr. I mean, he was just openly and transparently talking about how stupid Trump is. So I don't know what's really going on behind the scenes with Lindsey Graham, but it is an interesting point. And to get people distracted, the right wing is throwing Lindsey Graham under a bus and mentioning his possible sexual orientation in an effort to smear her.
Yeah, the thing is, I have no idea if Ilhan Omar does or has ever thought that he was secretly gay, but I do know that I have no psychic ability to see into her heart or her brain.
Right.
I have to go with what she actually says, and there's nothing there. But that does not stop the right from implying that they know what she's secretly thinking. So if we could bring up this front page headline from Breitbart, it says Representative Ilhan Omar furthers homophobic conspiracy that Lindsey Graham's compromised. Fox News said hard left Ilhan Omar faces backlash over this conspiracy theory. And she responds, you see, I love how revealing the right is in their assumptions of me. Pro tip, just because you are homophobic doesn't mean everyone else is. Deal with your own bigotry and Islamophobic views of me and stop with the hateful smears.
You know who's spreading conspiracy theories about Lindsey Graham? Breitbart.
Yeah, Breitbart just did it, actually.
Yeah.
So she goes on to say, the right thinks being homosexual is compromising. Well, I have news for them. Being LGBTQ+ isn't something we should be ashamed of. Y'all know my tweet had nothing to do with his sexuality and everything to do with his blind cooperation with Trump. Let's focus. So you have now seen most of the arc. There might have been other tweets and stuff, but that's the majority of it. She thinks that he's been compromised. She goes on CNN. She gives multiple political explanations for that. She's attacked viciously over it, with many people simply spreading the video without ever watching it and realizing that she doesn't talk about that. She defends herself, making clear that not only is that not what she's talking about, but she doesn't care at all about his sexuality. And then it's not just Breitbart. If it was just Breitbart and random Twitterers, I don't care. S.E. Cupp tweets, no, a member of Congress jumped on the patently homophobic, quote, Lindsey must be hiding something bandwagon and offered precisely zero proof, only wholly invented baseless hypotheticals. That's irresponsible and also ignorant, homophobic, and unacceptable.
What the hell is going on?
She says that while providing literally zero evidence that Ilhan Omar thinks that. She is a highly paid, on-air person in the mainstream media who possesses the mutant secret power to delve into the recesses of a freshman congresswoman's brain and know what she secretly means that is not supported in any way by what she actually says on TV.
This is insane. I mean,
it's insane, but also not particularly surprising. Now, I'm not saying about this in particular about S.E. Cupp or any individual person, but I don't think that who Ilhan Omar is can be stripped away from this attempt to smear her as homophobic. I do believe, and Representative Omar implies something to this effect in one of her tweets, there is Islamophobia here. There is a belief that she is different in some fundamental way and that she's probably thinking about those things. I mean, we know how much Muslims hate those people. She probably hates them too. Again, I'm not a psychic. I can't look at anyone's brain, but it feels like that's probably some of what's creeping out there, particularly on Breitbart. We know what Breitbart's like.
S.E. Cupp should really reconsider who and which sources influence her opinions on issues.
Yeah.
If you are being influenced by Breitbart in any way, then you have absolutely no reason to be a trusted news source, right? Like, Breitbart is not to be trusted, and the fact that Breitbart influenced her is concerning.
Yeah, and I would say best case scenario, S.E. Cupp and others did what, look, unfortunately a lot of people do. They saw a quote about a video, they didn't watch the video, and they clicked retweet. If that's the case, don't feel like you have to double down. Just come out and say that you didn't watch the video and you take back what you said, implying that this new representative, the first Somali American ever elected to Congress, is a homophobe.
S.E. Cupp is not a random person on Twitter. I get that people do that. She's not a random person on Twitter. She is a person with a platform who works for a news organization, right? And so you have to take that as a serious responsibility and just take the extra minute to watch the video and understand the point that Representative Omar is trying to make, and then decide for yourself whether or not she's trying to spread some sort of ridiculous anti-gay conspiracy. But that is not what's happening here, and the fact that she was influenced by Breitbart, again, is concerning.
Yeah, and I will just briefly end by saying that I think these theories are interesting about him secretly working to sabotage Trump, but I don't think he's been compromised in any way. I think that he is a no-core politician that believes that the political wins are still with Donald Trump, and so he's supporting him. I think that's what it is.
But let's have some fun.
I think he's a cynical politician. I think that's what it is.
Well, all of them.
So I disagree with Representative Omar. I just also don't think she's a homophobe.
Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.